now we can kind of understand what's different, what's going on under the hood that might be different than a traditional forecast. And so we see this is a perfect example of, say, the theta method when we add the planar adjustments, and notice how we miss big. Like we have the same time period coming up. You see it's July to October here. We get this massive spike in demand at this with this item. And the next July and October, the planer would override it and say, let's do the same thing, predict the same amount. And then boom, we miss big. But then what happens to machine learning? Well, it's in the green here, and it catches that peak very well. And so that's kind of an example of a time when you might have, you might think, okay, you might think, oh, well, the demand is coming this year as well because it happened last year. It might not be the case. And then we see the same effect here. And this is just a very similar scenario. Price might drop right here in April to clear out some of that old inventory before the new season. And then boom, the forecast jumps, but we didn't actually have that jump observed. And then furthermore, we see in the far right side, we say, oh, well, here comes another promotion, so let's carry over this effect. And then boom, same thing, we overshot it. And this could be due to other items going on promotion at the same time. It could be due to changing consumer sentiment. It could be due to a million factors, right? But the key thing we're trying to extract and understand from this is, as a demand planner or as a demand planning leader, it's really just impossible to say you're going to be able to capture all these relationships in your head. And so now we're moving from, instead of having to have this very high pressure position of, let me see how we need to adjust our forecast because our model is never good enough, we outsource this work to the model, and what we get is a better forecast where we require less adjustment and
Right.
hence less room for inserted bias. And so it's very nice to visualize it and kind of see what could be happening. And I'm sure it would look very, very incredible as well in the ice cream example that you were mentioning earlier.
Actually, I wanted to say it looks very, very similar because again, it's seasonal pattern. And you can see how one item gets eaten by another one. But yeah, this is an amazing example, by the way. I think you can really see that, it looks like just, trend line. But those gaps, this is money, okay? Either lost sales or excess inventory. So at the end of the day, we're trying to be as close as possible. And by the way, I never say to be 100% accurate. No one could be 100% accurate. If you are, it's just luck. It's not sustainable. But what we really want to get, what we want to achieve, is to minimize the error. And look how machine learning, here you can see it displayed in green, how machine learning outperforms and how it actually catches the trend, the seasonality in a complex environment. And we can see the noise and we can see the variability. It's not an easy model, but still we can see the results, and numbers don't lie, right, Jack?
Yep. And so obviously I just kind of overlaid the scoring report with the actual scores below, and we kind of see the differences here. But yeah, it's much more powerful. Obviously, the first chart, you're like, okay, well, yes, if machine learning is better, but that would lead to ask you a bunch more questions, right? You're like, why? Especially if you've never seen the power of machine learning in supply chains. And so now we can kind of get a glimpse of, oh, well, there's a big difference in the way that it can, like you said, capture these very complex, shifting seasonalities that are entirely different than last year, or that might have a dampened effect due to different items coming in the mix. And so, yeah, it's very, very powerful stuff.
So, Jack,